The Mandela Effect is a phenomenon of any time there is more than one collective memory where large populations of people remember a specific version of reality that we're currently not on the timeline where that version of reality exists.
For nearly 20 years, there was a show that aired from 1968 to 1986 called The Dick Cavett Show. It was a talk show hosted by comedian, author, and writer Dick Cavett. The Mandela Effect regarding this show dates back to an episode that was filmed June 7th, 1971, that was never aired and no one ever saw. Why? Because the guest on that episode actually died during its filming in front of a live studio audience. The guest on that episode was publisher J.I. Rodale, who was an early advocate of sustainable agriculture and organic farming in the United States. Mr. Rodale was a big health guy, and he made his name talking about health. In fact, he was known as the originator of the word organic when describing produce. In kind of a dark, ironic way, he actually made a lot of quotes in this episode that kind of tempted fate. He said, "I'm in such good health that I fell down a long flight of stairs yesterday and I laughed all the way." As well as, "I've decided to live to be 100. And even, I never felt better in my life." Well, apparently he passed away shortly after that from a heart attack. Now, the details are fuzzy because, again, this wasn't aired. But from the few that were there in the audience, here's what happened. The host, Dick Cavett, was speaking with journalist Pete Hamill when Rodale slumped forward and began making a snoring noise. Now, what happens next is contested. Dick claims that both he and Pete immediately noticed that something was wrong, with Pete saying, "This looks bad." Other accounts from the audience said that Dick made a joke saying, "Are we boring you, Mr. Rodale?" Now, Dick has emphatically denied that and says that he doesn't remember saying it, although two physicians who were in the audience at the time did remember him saying that. And the same physicians rushed to the stage trying to revive Rodale, but it was too late. He was eventually transferred to Roosevelt Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. That night's episode was never aired, and a rerun was shown in its place. So what's the Mandela Effect here? The host, Dick Cavett, claims that he is approached about this often by people wanting to discuss the incident. He would ask if the person was in the studio audience that night, as it would have been the only way for them to have witnessed what happened, and every single time he gets a no as a reply, saying that they saw it on TV.
Somebody would say, "I'll never forget the look on your face when that guy died on your show." And they'll just, and now I have the choice at that moment of saying, "You were there." No, this is interesting because I'm not calling you a liar or any means, but it never aired. What are you talking about? Will be one reaction. Or, didn't it? God, I could swear you reached out and they weren't there. These people could pass a polygraph test that they saw it, and they're kind of hurt, and they're kind of disappointed that they have had this memory taken away from them.